For nearly 30 years, Hee Haw brought laughter, music, and homespun humor to living rooms across America. With its mix of country tunes, comedy sketches, and unforgettable characters, the show became a cultural phenomenon and a Saturday night tradition for millions. But as the years have passed, many of the show's most cherished cast members have sadly left us. Some died unexpectedly, while others passed on after long and storied lives in the spotlight. In this heartfelt look back, we remember the iconic stars of Hee Haw who have tragically died, celebrating the joy they brought and the legacies they leave behind. Roy Clark, born April 15, 1933, was 36 years old when he joined Hee Haw in 1969, quickly becoming a fan favorite for his charisma, musical talent, and affable personality. On screen, his character embodied warmth and joy, with a skill set that included guitar, banjo, and fiddle, solidifying his place in country music history. However, his personal life was more turbulent. Clark struggled with severe punctuality issues in his early career, leading to his firing from Jimmy Dean's band, a setback that nearly derailed his journey. His heavy drinking in the late 1980s only added to his troubles, with whispers of personal struggles affecting his professional relationships. While he maintained a successful career, those close to him knew of his darker sides. Clark passed away on November 15, 2018, at the age of 85 from complications due to pneumonia. Behind his public image of the lovable host lay a man who wrestled with the demons of addiction and personal disappointment. Grandpa Jones, born October 20, 1913, became an integral part of Hee Haw at age 56 in 1969, known for his endearing portrayal of a kind-hearted, country grandfather. His wholesome image on television made him beloved by fans, but the reality of his life was less simple. Despite his jovial on-screen persona, Jones faced significant personal hardships, including financial struggles and periods of loneliness. Though he never faced the major scandals that marked many of his Hee Haw co-stars, his off-screen life was far from perfect. Jones, whose career was built on a folksy, down-to-earth charm, often found himself at odds with the realities of his own personal struggles, including health issues and the pain of growing older. When he passed away on February 19, 1998, at age 84 from complications of a stroke, the loss was felt deeply by those who knew him. Though he was regarded as a gentle soul in the public eye, his personal life painted a different, more complex portrait. Buck Owens, born August 12, 1929, was 40 years old when he became a co-host of Hee Haw in 1969. With his sharp wit and formidable musical talent, Owens was a central figure on the show, helping bring country music to the forefront of American television. However, his on-screen persona was only one part of a far more complicated individual. Known for his hard-nosed approach, Owens had a reputation for being difficult to work with, often resorting to intimidation and making crew members fear him. He was notorious for his explosive temper and challenging personal relationships, which included multiple failed marriages. His career also saw a decline after the initial success of Hee Haw, as his attempts to expand beyond the show often fell flat. He died on March 25, 2006, at age 76, from a heart attack, leaving behind a legacy of both musical greatness and personal turmoil that fans and colleagues alike continue to grapple with. Minnie Pearl, born October 25, 1912, was 57 when she joined Hee Haw in 1969, instantly becoming a star with her trademark humor and southern charm. Her character, with the iconic price tag on her hat, was a symbol of the simpler, more innocent America, and her warm, approachable demeanor made her a beloved figure. However, behind her public persona, Minnie Pearl faced significant challenges. Her marriage was turbulent, with an eventual divorce that was both painful and public, something she rarely discussed with the media. Though she kept a positive image on screen, there were those who knew of the emotional toll her personal life took on her. As she aged, Pearl dealt with health struggles that kept her from performing at her best, yet she still maintained a beloved place in the hearts of her fans. She passed away on March 4, 1996, at age 83 from complications of a stroke, leaving behind a legacy of warmth, though also a woman whose private life was often overshadowed by the mask she wore for the world. Gordy Tap, born June 4, 1922, was 47 when he joined Hee Haw in 1969. Tap became an integral part of the show with his musical numbers and comedic sketches, portraying a persona that balanced country charm with quick wit. While he built a career around wholesome humor, behind the scenes, Tap was no stranger to the pressures of fame. His career, though largely scandal-free, saw several instances of him being pushed aside in favor of younger talent, leaving him to contend with a growing sense of frustration. A fiercely private man, Tap struggled with the Hollywood industry's fleeting nature, often battling self-doubt as the years passed. His personal life, by all accounts, was quiet, but the shadow of his later years, marked by fading public interest, weighed heavily on him. Despite the lack of public scandals, Tap's struggles with fading fame and his attempts to remain relevant were often seen as a quiet form of his inner turmoil. Tap died on December 18, 2016, at the age of 94, a man who had once captured the hearts of millions but ended his life in quiet obscurity. Junior Samples, born April 10, 1926, was 43 when he joined Hee Haw in 1969, known for his bumbling, comedic character who became famous for his BR 549 skit. Samples was often the butt of jokes, his naivety and clumsy charm making him an unlikely television star. However, beneath the humor, Samples struggled with significant personal issues. His battles with alcohol were well known, as was his difficulty in dealing with the pressures of fame. While his career remained relatively scandal-free, his personal life was filled with hardship and quiet pain. Those closest to him understood that his comedic antics were often a mask for his deeper emotional struggles, including strained family relationships. His untimely death on November 13, 1983, at age 57 from a heart attack was a blow to his fans, who saw only the character but never the man behind the laughs. Despite his charm, Samples' life was marked by battles that were hidden behind his on-screen persona. Donald Harren, born September 19, 1924, at 45 years old, became Charlie Farquharson in Hee Haw in 1969. His portrayal of the bumbling, yet endearing, Canadian character made him a beloved fixture, but Harren's career wasn't without its own trials. Despite being seen as a man of high moral standing, there were whispers in the industry about his temperamental nature and occasional clashes with other cast members. Though never fully indulging in major scandals, Harren's personal life was marked by a failed marriage to his wife, whose bitter divorce proceedings dragged through the tabloids for years. The public backlash was vicious, with many questioning the man behind the persona. As his fame dimmed, Harren faced accusations of mistreatment towards colleagues, some of whom claimed he was often difficult to work with due to his demands for creative control. His legacy, however, remains untarnished by scandal, but the scars from his personal battles were never far from the surface. He passed away on January 17, 2015, at the age of 90. Buck Trent, born on February 17, 1938, joined Hee Haw in 1974 at age 36, bringing his remarkable banjo skills to the stage and quickly becoming known for his laid-back, affable personality. Though his on-screen character was that of a talented, down-to-earth musician, his off-screen life held darker moments. Trent's rise to fame was often accompanied by struggles with substance abuse. His addiction to alcohol and gambling caused rifts in both his career and personal relationships, leading to a series of unfortunate career setbacks. Rumors of his volatile temper surfaced during his time on the show, with some alleging that he had trouble maintaining professional relationships. Despite his talent, his struggles with personal demons left him out of the limelight for several years. In his later life, Buck Trent distanced himself from the entertainment industry, seeking to reconcile his past mistakes and find peace. He passed away on October 9, 2023, at the age of 85, after a long battle with his inner conflicts. George Lindsay, born December 17, 1928, joined Hee Haw in 1971, at 43. As Goober Pyle, Lindsay's portrayal of the goofy, lovable mechanic made him an icon. Despite his positive public image, behind the camera, Lindsay battled alcoholism, a vice that led to countless rumors of erratic behavior and on-set difficulties. His struggles were often hidden behind a charming smile, but sources close to him revealed a man often battling his inner demons. His personal relationships were marked by tumultuous marriages, the details of which were kept out of the public eye but hinted at in various interviews. The pressures of maintaining the goober image took a toll on him, leading to a series of personal breakdowns that were less visible to fans but well known in the Hollywood circles. While he remained a fan favorite, the toll of his addictions and strained relationships contributed to his decline in the later years of his career. Lindsay died on May 6, 2012, at 83, having left behind a beloved legacy but also a trail of personal struggles that few were privy to. String Bean, born June 17, 1915, joined Hee Haw at the age of 54. Known for his musical talent and impeccable comedic timing, String Bean became a beloved character, but his life ended tragically. In 1973, he was brutally murdered during a robbery at his home, which shocked the nation and turned the spotlight on his private life. Behind his public persona of the jovial country musician, String Bean faced severe financial difficulties, with rumors circulating that he was involved in shady business dealings and gambling. His marriage was reportedly strained, and the sudden murder of String Bean cast a dark shadow over his legacy, revealing the dangerous world he inhabited off-screen. While his on-screen presence was one of light-hearted fun, the mystery surrounding his murder has lingered in the years since, with many still questioning the true motives behind his tragic death on November 10, 1973 at 58. String Bean's story remains one of the most chilling, with whispers of betrayal and hidden secrets continuing to captivate those who knew him. Roy Acuff, born September 15, 1903, joined Hee Haw in 1973 at the age of 70. As a country music legend, Acuff was respected for his musical talent, yet his personal life was far from perfect. His career, although lauded, had its own controversies. Acuff faced numerous public feuds with other country stars, often accused of trying to manipulate the music industry for his own benefit. His personality was marked by a competitive streak, and many claim that he would go to any length to stay at the top, even if it meant undermining others. Acuff's marriages were tumultuous, with a second wife, in particular, being known for her fiery temper. His personal and professional struggles were often hidden behind the larger-than-life persona of the country music star, but those close to him saw a man constantly battling the pressures of fame. Acuff died on November 23, 1992, at 89, leaving behind a complex legacy of triumphs and personal scandals. John Henry Faulk, born August 21, 1913, joined Hee Haw in 1976 at 63, bringing his sharp storytelling and humor to the show. A celebrated performer, Faulk's career was marred by the notorious blacklist he faced in the 1950s during the Red Scare. His association with communist sympathizers led to his public shaming and personal ruin. Despite his eventual return to the spotlight, the damage was done, and his reputation was forever tainted by whispers of his past political affiliations. Faulk's personal life mirrored the chaos of his professional one, as his relationships were plagued by controversy. His divorce from his first wife was drawn out and became a public spectacle, with both parties accusing each other of betrayal. His personal challenges seemed to follow him, with his later years marked by increasing isolation. Though he kept a low profile, the scars of his past haunted him until his death. Faulk passed away on April 9, 1990, at 76, leaving behind a career tarnished by past demons. Jack Burns was born on November 15, 1933, and joined Hee Haw in 1969 at the age of 36. Burns portrayed a sharp-witted, quick-tempered character, providing some of the most memorable comedic moments in the show. Despite his success, his career was far from smooth. Known for being fiercely independent, he often clashed with colleagues and producers. His career trajectory took a significant downturn in the late 70s, when he found himself typecast and struggling for steady work. Behind the scenes, Jack was notorious for his volatile personality, rumors of erratic behavior on set and demands that often pushed his co-stars to the limit. His personal life was just as tumultuous. Burned by several failed marriages and a string of estranged friendships, he retreated into isolation in his later years. He also battled alcohol addiction, something that was never fully made public, and his erratic behavior led to his estrangement from many of his peers. Jack Burns passed away on January 27, 2020, at the age of 86, after years of fading from the public eye. Loretta Lynn, born Loretta Webb on April 14, 1932, became a mainstay on Hee Haw in 1969 at age 37, captivating audiences with her powerful voice and unflinching portrayal of rural life. Her persona was rooted in authenticity, reflecting the hardships and realities of her upbringing in Kentucky. However, Lynn's career was anything but smooth. Her song The Pill, which tackled birth control, was banned by many radio stations for its controversial nature, yet it cemented her as a boundary-pushing artist unafraid to speak her truth. Offstage, Loretta's life was tumultuous. She faced a rocky marriage to her first husband, Oliver Lynn, whose infidelity and abuse strained their relationship. Despite public loyalty, she secretly struggled with his domineering behavior, which she later described as emotionally devastating. Her personal challenges were further complicated by battles with alcoholism and her own infidelities, which, though rarely talked about publicly, left a mark on her reputation. She passed away on October 4, 2022, at 90. Her legacy is a tangled mix of groundbreaking music, personal turmoil, and undeniable strength. Tennessee Ernie Ford, born on February 13, 1919, joined Hee Haw in 1973 at the age of 54. With his signature baritone voice, Ford became a cornerstone of the show, delivering some of its most iconic musical numbers. However, his life off-screen was far more complicated. Despite his public success, Ford privately struggled with alcoholism, a battle that began during his early career but worsened as he aged. His personal demons led to multiple failed marriages, some of which were marred by public scandal. In his later years, Ford's addiction took a toll on his health, and he became increasingly reclusive. His alcoholism was blamed for contributing to his declining health, and though he maintained a facade of a beloved country star, his dark side was known to many within the industry. Ford's struggles were overshadowed by his tragic passing on October 17, 1991, at the age of 72. His death was a quiet one, after years of fading from the limelight due to his health issues. Slim Pickkins, born June 29, 1919, was the quintessential cowboy character when he joined Hee Haw in 1981 at the age of 62. Pickens' folksy charm and comedic timing made him a natural fit, but his personal life was far less charming. His career, though filled with colorful roles, was also marked by a constant battle with his inner demons. Known to have been deeply involved in the rodeo scene, Pickens often let his competitive nature spill over into his personal relationships. He was a known drinker, often indulging in the same excesses that plagued so many others in Hollywood. However, what many didn't know was the darker side of his temper. Family members and former co-stars have reported that Pickens' alcoholic rages often resulted in volatile outbursts that scared those closest to him. Despite his professional successes, his personal life was a series of broken relationships and hidden battles. Pickens died on December 8, 1983, at the age of 64, after suffering from complications related to his drinking. George Jones was born on September 12, 1931, and joined Hee Haw in 1969 at the age of 38. His character was defined by his powerful voice and heartfelt country music, but his personal life was a turbulent storm. Despite the fame, Jones' battle with alcoholism and drug addiction left an indelible mark on his career, with frequent no-shows and erratic behavior on stage. He was notorious for letting his demons dictate his professional life, earning the reputation of being unreliable. His struggles with sobriety even caused the cancellation of gigs and led to being fired from several record labels. His tumultuous marriage to Tammy Wynette ended in a public spectacle, with allegations of infidelity and volatile arguments. Jones' most shocking scandal came when he was arrested for public drunkenness multiple times, and his behavior was often unpredictable, earning him a reputation as a difficult celebrity to work with. Yet, despite all his personal wreckage, Jones somehow managed to remain a beloved figure in country music until his death on April 26, 2013, at 81, from complications related to his health battles. Tammy Wynette, born May 5, 1942, joined Hee Haw in 1969 at the age of 27, bringing her emotional, powerful voice to the stage. Her personal life, however, was marked by a constant struggle between her public image and private turmoil. While she was a beloved figure in country music, her personal relationships were often fodder for the tabloids. Tammy's marriages, particularly her turbulent union with George Jones, were notoriously stormy and well documented. The couple's volatile relationship became one of the most famous in country music history, marked by public fights, infidelity, and personal breakdowns. Despite her success, she faced a life filled with health issues, including constant pain from surgeries, which many believe contributed to her emotional distress. Tammy was known to use prescription pills to cope with her physical and emotional pain, a struggle that was kept mostly under wraps. Her final years were marked by a retreat from the public eye, but her health deteriorated rapidly, leading to her death on April 6, 1998, at the age of 55. Charley Pride, born on March 18, 1934, joined Hee Haw in 1969 at age 35, bringing his deep baritone voice and charm to country music's biggest stage. Known for breaking racial barriers in a predominantly white industry, Pride's career was a testament to perseverance. But his life was not without scandal. Behind the scenes, Pride's extramarital affair was a well-guarded secret for years, the result of which was a son, Tyler Pride, whose existence remained hidden from the public. It wasn't until after his death in 2020 that a lawsuit revealed the hidden family member, challenging his will and estate, leading to a media firestorm. Though Pride's personal life had many highs and lows, including struggles with maintaining relationships, his professionalism on stage often overshadowed the darker sides of his private life. He was notoriously private, but his silence only fueled curiosity and speculation about his real story. He died on December 12, 2020, at 86. John Hartford was born on December 30, 1937, and joined Hee Haw in 1978 at the age of 41. Known for his musical genius, particularly with the banjo and fiddle, Hartford portrayed a charming, quirky character that became beloved on the show. However, beyond the banjo strings, his career took unexpected turns. Though Hartford remained largely scandal-free in the public eye, there were whispers about his struggles with personal demons, including a deep, mysterious battle with substance use that he kept under wraps for much of his career. Despite his brilliance, Hartford's musical prowess never quite translated to the fame and commercial success one might have expected, leaving him to navigate a lonely path after his departure from the limelight. His personal life was equally turbulent, with several failed relationships that never quite seemed to find stability. While his death from non-Hodgkin lymphoma on June 4, 2001 at the age of 63 seemed to come quietly, many were left to wonder what truly lurked behind his smile. Roy Rogers, born on November 5, 1911, joined Hee Haw in 1970 at the age of 59. Known as the quintessential cowboy, Rogers' character exuded charm and integrity, and he remained scandal-free throughout his career. His image was carefully cultivated as the King of the Cowboys, a title he wore with pride. However, behind the polished persona, Rogers experienced personal losses that were never publicly discussed. While his career remained steady, his later years were filled with the silent toll of his first wife's death and his deep grief over her loss. Despite this, Rogers remained a beloved figure in Hollywood, never attracting the kind of scandals that often plagued his contemporaries. In contrast to his career successes, Rogers faced personal financial struggles, but his public image remained untarnished. He passed away on July 6, 1998, at the age of 86, leaving behind a legacy of wholesome entertainment that he worked tirelessly to uphold, never revealing the deeper emotional turmoil he endured. Jonathan Winters, born on November 11, 1925, joined Hee Haw in 1969 at the age of 44. Known for his eccentricity and comedic brilliance, Winters was a standout performer, but his personal life was troubled with issues that remained largely under the radar. His struggles with mental health, which led to a stay in a mental hospital in the late 1950s, were part of the darker side of his story, along with his public battles with alcoholism. Winters often used humor as a defense mechanism, hiding the deep insecurities and pain that shaped his personal life. His outbursts and erratic behavior on and off set were frequent, but his fans adored him nonetheless. The pain of his failed marriages and strained relationships with family never made headlines as much as his comedy did, but they added to his mystique. Winters lived his life in the shadow of his inner turmoil, but his death on April 11, 2013, at the age of 87, from natural causes, marked the end of an era for those who loved his wit and his troubled genius. Dale Evans, born on October 31, 1912, joined Hee Haw in 1970 at the age of 58. A beacon of grace and talent, Evans was known for her musical performances and nurturing on-screen persona. However, behind the scenes, Evans' personal life was filled with grief and struggle. She faced the tragic death of her adopted daughter, which sent shockwaves through her life, and though she kept her composure publicly, privately she struggled with immense sorrow. The heartache of losing multiple children, including one who died young, weighed heavily on Evans, and her marriage to Roy Rogers was at times a source of solace and tension. Despite the personal tragedies, Evans maintained a scandal-free public image, dedicating her life to her faith and music. Her steadfast focus on her career helped her remain relevant throughout the decades, even as personal demons loomed. She passed away on February 7, 2001, at the age of 88, after a life filled with both triumph and heartbreak, always carrying the weight of her losses in silence. Conway Twitty, born on September 1, 1933, joined Hee Haw in 1969 at the age of 36. His smooth voice and romantic ballads made him a country music icon, but beneath the surface, Twitty's personal life was not without its shadows. His career, while impressive, was marred by struggles with fame and a personal tendency to avoid the limelight. Twitty's relationships with women, though never fully scandalous, were filled with secrecy and rumor. Known to be fiercely protective of his private life, he became a subject of whispers in the entertainment industry, with accusations of infidelity and emotional distance from those closest to him. Though he successfully avoided major public scandals, Twitty was known for his temper and dissatisfaction with the constraints of fame. His later years were marked by declining health, and though he had no major public controversies, he was often viewed as someone who withdrew from public life. He passed away on June 5, 1993, at the age of 59, leaving behind a complex legacy in both music and personal relationships. Merle Ronald Haggard, born on April 6, 1937, joined Hee Haw in 1969 at the age of 32. Known for his hard-edged persona and deeply emotional performances, Haggard's life was anything but predictable. His character in Hee Haw reflected his real-life struggles. Haggard's personal life was a whirlwind of multiple marriages, substance abuse issues, and frequent brushes with the law. His marriage to singer Leona Williams was particularly volatile, marked by emotional turmoil and public arguments. His addiction to alcohol and drugs overshadowed much of his career, even leading to a stint in prison for a failed robbery. Despite his internal battles, Haggard's voice became the anthem for the broken and troubled, but that didn't shield him from the wreckage of his personal life. By the time of his death on April 6, 2016, Haggard had lived a hard life, one of unrelenting struggle and sporadic redemption, with pneumonia ultimately claiming him at 79. Mel Tillis, born on August 8, 1932, joined Hee Haw in 1969 at the age of 37. Famous for his charming personality and stutter, Tillis was more than just a musical talent. He became a symbol of perseverance and humor. However, his personal life wasn't as smooth as his onstage persona. His stutter, which he used to his advantage, often masked a deeper insecurity that plagued his relationships. Tillis' marriage to his first wife, Judy, ended in a bitter divorce, and his second marriage to Kathy was marred by accusations of infidelity. Though Tillis was known for his clean image and work ethic, there were murmurings of his controlling behavior and difficult nature behind the scenes. A career built on humor could not completely shield him from his own demons. His death on November 19, 2017 at 85 from respiratory failure marked the end of a tumultuous life that, despite his public success, was riddled with personal turmoil. Tom T. Hall, born on May 25, 1936, joined Hee Haw in 1970 at the age of 34. Hall was a master storyteller, weaving tales of heartbreak, loss, and the human condition through his music. However, behind the songs was a man who struggled with his own dark moments. Hall's personal life was a mix of highs and lows, with a reputation for being deeply private and occasionally cold to those around him. His first marriage to Dixie Hall ended in divorce, and though he remarried, his second wife's tragic death in 2015 left him reeling. Hall's career faltered in the 80s, with his music not finding the same success it once had, leading many to speculate about his depression and the emotional toll of his creative stagnation. Though scandal was rarely linked to Hall, his isolation and struggles were quietly known to those who worked closely with him. He passed away on August 20, 2021 at the age of 85, a man whose last years were marked by the loss of his beloved wife and the quiet surrender of his once vibrant spirit. Who's your favorite character in Hee Haw? How do you feel knowing that the actors have passed away? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss future videos. Thank you so much.